This is the Sunday Business Page with John Delano.
Good morning, I'm John Delano. Welcome to another home edition of the Sunday Business Page. Our special guest today is Eric Booth, president of Desmone Architects. Eric, welcome to the show. Good to have you here.
Thanks, John.
You know, you have introduced me to something brand new from an architectural standpoint, but it sure makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people are familiar with the so-called LEED standard, but you have done something with, I guess, a standard called the WELL standard.
Yes.
That makes a whole lot of sense during this era of coronavirus pandemic. What exactly is the WELL standard?
So if you know about LEED, LEED is about how buildings impact the environment. So WELL is a rating system similar to LEED, but WELL looks at how buildings impact people.
How they impact people. In other words, I have always heard about buildings that are called sick buildings.
Yep.
Usually I think of that's because their ventilation systems don't work right and they spread disease real fast. What exactly is a WELL building?
So WELL building is the opposite of a sick building. So WELL building is one that's designed and operated in a way that actually helps people be healthier as opposed to sick.
What does that mean, though?
So in using your example of the ventilation, so WELL building would have better ventilation, which would be a better way of getting rid of toxins and so forth. But it goes beyond that and actually looks at how the building impacts the mind, the body. It also looks at nourishment. So anything that goes into or affects the body, the WELL building program and the WELL certification looks at that and basically rates how both the building itself and also the policies of the company that operates within it look and impact people.
You know, we're thinking a lot these days about social distancing and spacing. Is that something that you take into consideration?
It is, because it's part of the actual safety. So there's that aspect of it, which goes into how close people are, how they interact. Then that's kind of part of the survival aspect, which is really important, but WELL goes beyond that and actually looks at how we can actually thrive in spaces as well, not just survive.
And there's actually a building here in Pittsburgh, I guess, is there only one building that has met this WELL Gold certificate standard?
There are two buildings in Pittsburgh that are WELL, but we're the only one that's WELL Gold certified.
And tell us about that building.
So we are in Doughboy Square in Lawrenceville, neighborhood of Pittsburgh. And we had an old bank building that was built in the early 1900s, and we put an addition onto it. And so it's the addition that we actually sought the WELL certification for.
And does that mean that people don't get sick if they work in that building?
No, not necessarily, but it's certainly a healthier building than most. And so people are less likely to get sick in our building than they would most other older buildings that weren't designed quite as well.
You know, has this become something that architects in general have to pay attention to now that we've had this coronavirus?
I think so. I think it's something we all need to be thinking about. I mean, with the coronavirus, every one of us now thinks about everything that we touch and how we go through buildings. And it's up for us as designers and architects to now think about how we design buildings to basically allow people to make better choices.
And I guess from an expense standpoint, if I'm a builder and I want really my tenants or my workers, if I'm having companies come in, is it more expensive to make a WELL building?
Depends on the level you're going at. There's sort of like a good, better, best. And so the good you can do fairly inexpensively. When you get to the better and the best, it can become more expensive with mechanical systems. We looked at our building and we, based on a baseline of what it would normally cost without it being WELL certified, we estimate it was probably an additional 4 to 5% total. And the largest part of that cost was in the mechanical system.
Well, if it's only, and I'll put it only in quotes, if it's only 5% more costly to make a building that's safe for us from a wellness standpoint, I'd say go for it.
We agree. We think it's a pretty good return on investment and a good investment in people. And essentially healthier people are, make for a healthier society, and healthier buildings make healthier people.
Well, Eric Booth, architect, president of Desmone Architects, thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for joining us on the Sunday Business Page. If you have a suggestion for a guest, please send me an email at jdelano@kdka.com. Have a great Sunday, everybody.